Welcome back to News Desk. I'm Robinson Okenya, and let's take a look at other stories from different parts of the country. And Maasai elders have issued a historic declaration denouncing female genital mutilation following a long and difficult process of community engagement led by local and national organizations working to end the practice. The event marks a significant milestone in the fight against FGM in Maasai communities, signaling a shift towards safeguarding the health, education, and future of girls. Catherine Muraget attended the declaration ceremony and brings us that story.
Their voices steady but heavy with meaning, carried across the gathering like a promise long delayed. In a landmark declaration, Maasai elders publicly denounced female genital mutilation, marking a turning point for a community where tradition has long spoken louder than dissent. This was not just an event, it was a reckoning. For generations, FGM has been woven into rites of passage, enforced by silence and sanctified by custom. But on this day, tradition was questioned from within. Elders, custodians of culture, stood before women, girls, and youth and said what had never been said so plainly. But behind these are survivors, women whose lives were shaped by the cut. One of them, a soft-spoken mother of three, Naomi Kolian, narrating how FGM took a better half of her life.
Nilipitia ukeketaji katika umri mdogo ambayo iliniathiri. Naweza sema kiafya, kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa napenda michezo, kukimbia, kucheza soka, lakini baada ya ukeketaji sikuweza kukimbia maana niliathirika. Pia wakati nilijoin high school nilitengwa sana na wenzangu, nikaboeka. Alafu baada ya high school ilibidi nioleke mapema by force.
Another survivor described complications she encountered. Married off at an early age to an old mzee of almost 100 years old as a 10th wife.
Roho yangu inalia, na jambo lingine ni kulea watoto wangu kwa hiyo maisha ya ugumu kabisa. Maisha ya ukeketaji si rahisi, kwa sababu mimi kuolewa kwangu nimeolewa kwa familia ya wamama wengi. Hawa wamama hawako safe.
Their testimonies were raw, unfiltered, no longer whispered behind closed doors, but spoken aloud in the presence of those who once upheld the practice. FGM, closely tied to early and forced marriage in the community, has long been justified as a necessity for womanhood. But the survivors' stories laid bare its consequences: physical pain, psychological trauma, and stolen girlhoods.
FGM is a precursor to child marriage. So if we end FGM in our communities, then we are going to reduce the numbers of girls who get married before the age of 18. And we know that if girls are not saved from child marriage, then we will not be able to have empowered women in the future. And that is why today we are here to say that us as survivors of FGM ends with us. And our daughters will never face the knife like we did. They will never face the blade like we did. They will never go through the pain and trauma that we went through. And they will never experience the pain that we experienced as their mothers.
FGM is a violation. It's not a rite of passage, and it's not a cultural practice, but it's an arm to women and girls. And that they should let girls be, because girls and women are the ones that are, carrying the heaviest burden and the pain of FGM.
In a unified voice, the elders announced their commitment to end FGM in their communities, to protect girls from early marriage, and to support alternative rites of passage that honor culture without causing harm.
Declaration ambayo tumefanya leo si ya kuacha mila yetu. Ni declaration ambayo tunaacha ukeketaji ya wasichana na kuoa wasichana wakiwa wadogo. Tumekuwa na mambo manne ambayo tulifanya declaration leo. Moja Tumekubali leo kama viongozi wa mila, wale wasichana wetu ambao wamekeketwa tumewabariki, wale ambao hawajakeketwa tumewabariki, lakini pia tumesema ikwame mahali imefikia. Tumeamua pia kupatia baraka wasichana wetu. Mara mingi wasichana ambao hawajakeketwa wamekuwa wakikosa baraka ya jamii. Kwa sababu gani? Tukiwa na ile sherehe ya Manyata ambayo tunafanya, msichana mwenye hajakeketwa haezi kanyanga pale.
For many survivors, the declaration did not erase the past, but at least offered something powerful.
We are now sure that we're going to live in a world free from FGM, free from all forms of violence, and a world where we can express our rights and our views without fear of being opposed by anyone.
Kitu imebaki kwenye the stakeholders and the government na anti-FGM na kila mtu. Sasa tokeni kwenye boardroom zenu, tokeni kwenye maofisi, twende tupeleke ujumbe sasa, kwa sababu ni ujumbe tu tunapeleka.
Mobilizing the elders was not easy, as FGM has for generations been deeply rooted in cultural traditions and overseen by community leadership. Initial discussions were met with resistance, skepticism, and fears that abandoning the practice would erode Maasai identity. Engagement efforts took months and even years of dialogue, involving barazas, one-on-one meetings with elders, religious leaders, women's groups, and youth.
When we started engaging the elders in 2021, we also had another engagement in 2023 with them. And our last engagement was in 2025, when we recently now decided that we are going to have the declaration. So the elders have been part of the community. They have seen the challenges that women face, especially young girls, when they are forced to drop out of school so that they can be married. So we are really grateful that the elders today have come and have held our hand and have ended, and they have brought an end to FGM. And today it means that FGM is now culturally prohibited in the Maasai community.
Female genital mutilation is a procedure involving partial or total removal of the female external genital, FGM. Overall, 21% of girls and women aged 15 to 49 years have been subjected to the practice. According to the Kenya Demographic and Health Survey of 2022, the prevalence of FGM went down from 21% to 15% in 2022. As the sunset and the gathering dispersed, the weight of the moment lingered. Change in communities rooted in tradition rarely comes swiftly, but it had come deliberately, spoken by the very voices that once guarded the old ways. A new tradition began, one where courage meant listening and leadership meant choosing compassion over silence. A historic moment for the Maa communities. Catherine Imuragit, KTN.